Hello, I'm back. I'm sure you're not as surprised as I am, but you know how it is when you're trying to be consistent with something and it's actually happening. It's really exciting for me. So I'm excited. I'm here. I just made an episode yesterday and I'm back today. Inspiring Women with ADHD. I'm Renee, your host. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say, but I did it. Today, I want to talk to you just a little bit. We'll see if it ends up being a little bit about the realities of working around and with your challenges of ADHD. And one of my aims is to help you do that, to work with, around, beyond, push those barriers, those hurdles, and accomplish what you want to accomplish, maybe be able to focus better, not be as distracted as much, have more energy, the dopamine levels, all that kind of stuff that we can create on our own or otherwise. But anyway, all those little things that can be helpful when you have ADHD. And what's really interesting is you can Google and find some answers, but okay, some of them do say, I have ADHD too. And I trust that they do and that they understand what it's like. And I like that. That's me. That's me. Not that I can't trust somebody who doesn't have ADHD, but I look at some of the information out there on what to do. And I don't know if you realize when you give us this one statement of get organized. If you're organized, you can focus better. It's like that is really great information. However, maybe getting organized is that giant mountain that I'm staring at or that I have been staring at as far as paperwork goes. I don't know what your biggest organizational nemesis is. Paperwork is mine, always has been. And getting organized with that is always a tremendous task. It's it's one of those things that I don't know that I'll ever be able to wrap my head around staying on top of paperwork completely, although I have done things like buy a shredder, make a little space, like a little bin, a little container for mail that I want to shred that I don't always have time to just open that up and take it out of the envelope because they put hard things. Have you guys discovered this? Where they put cardstock sometimes in the mail, so you can't just put the whole thing in the shredder. You can, but sometimes it's so thick that it could get jammed. They do little things like that too. So to mess us up. But my point is there are some steps that some people recommend that would be helpful, yeah, if I were to pay somebody to organize my paperwork or had somebody else to do it. That would help me a lot when I went to look for a paper or wanted to go keep track of something. That would really help. But the reality is sometimes the advice that we get is not very manageable and is overwhelming to just even consider. Oh, okay, get organized. Well, actually, that's one of the things that I'm challenged with right now. And another thing that I found is I'll find some information on the psychology, I can't talk sometimes, psychology website, and the website has ads. Okay, I understand that companies need to make money. I need to make money too. I'm going to have some offerings that I create eventually that will cost money too for anybody who wants to buy them. I'll also have a lot of information that's free for anyone who isn't able to buy things. That's fine. That's fine. I understand needing to make money. But for my ADHD brain, when I go to look at a recipe and I have to scroll past ads and look through this, it's not fun like an Easter egg hunt. It's like looking for something in the dirt, or I don't know. It's I don't know how to describe it, but it's not a pleasant experience. So I don't. often take anything away from that. The only way that I've found, and here's a little tip for you, maybe it would help you, but if you really do find a website that has information that could be helpful, but you can't make sense of it because they have ads pop up or whatever. Recipe websites have made that a little bit easier. Some of them have, where at the very top it'll say skip to recipe or print recipe. And you're like, thank goodness, I'd rather spend ink and paper to do this than to look through this whole page. But another thing is to have a Google Doc, or I don't know if you use Google Docs, some kind of word processing software on your computer where you just copy and paste paragraphs, and then you can look at it in a way that your brain can digest it. And yay for that. That's what we need, right? Is a way for our brain to digest it. So I do not plan to ever have ads on my website. That way, that won't be a struggle for anyone. I might have a pop-up sometime to say, hey, do you want this for free or something? But I think there's a way to configure that if you've already gotten one of those, it won't show it to you again, hopefully. Again, I'm still learning that stuff. But I'm just telling you this because I know what it's like to try to look up information, and that makes me more determined to not have that experience for people who are on my website or need to look up information that I might be providing. Another thing that I've seen are web pages where there's an article, and then on the right side, they call it what, a bar or something like that, a sidebar that has a lot of information too. Sometimes at the top, there's even more information. And I understand they have so much to share. They're excited about it and they want you to be able to find it. But I look at that and I just think, I just want to leave. I just want to leave. I can't take in all this information at the same time. It's almost like it's all shouting at me. So my goal is to make mine as streamlined for you of an experience, if that's the way to say it, to make it simple to digest. And it's really interesting because other advice that you get on these cluttered websites or websites that have ads blinking at you is to minimize distractions. And I think, yeah, I need the distractions minimized too. So I'm sure you realize that it's not as simple as just following some steps as doing what works for other people or what could work for a brain like yours. We each know ourselves pretty well and what trips us up, what gets in the way, and that some things work well for others better than they do for us, which is making it sound like, oh, I can never do anything. But there are times that we feel that way, especially when we compare ourselves to others who say, I only have 4 hours to work on this, or I only have 1 hour to work on this, so I got to get going. And then you see them actually doing it, and you're thinking, wow, wow, that's pretty, that's pretty amazing. And yeah, I have improved a ton in a lot of these areas, and I have been able to break through a lot of barriers and do things that I haven't been able to do for years. But I still give myself grace because for all the moments of success and learning and finding new ways that work. And I'm super appreciative of each time I find something new that works, like setting alarms on my phone. I was not doing that maybe 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I really picked it up about maybe a year and a half ago. But before, I would forget to go teach a yoga class when I was the teacher. That happened twice. And you'd think the first time I would have come up with a solution so it wouldn't happen a second time. I had a calendar on the wall. I had a planner. Are any of you planner people where you use a day planner? I buy one every year, but honestly, most of the time during the week, I don't know where it is. I just don't know where it is. And I'm doing better. I can at least find it by Sunday. Somehow on Sunday when it's quieter, I sit and look at it for the week, but it's not like I look at it during the week. So I think it just helps me. I still do it because I like to sit and plan it out. and then I take what's on that and put it on the wall. But for a while, where my calendar was on the wall, I couldn't always see it during the day, so I missed some things because I didn't happen to glance there. And that's when I started using Post-it notes and putting them where I would see them on the fridge, by a light switch, that kind of thing. Now with a phone alarm, that is even better. But as often as I misplace my phone, sometimes my husband will say, "Your alarm's going off on your phone." Thankfully, he's working from home now, so he's helping me with that. But as you can see, there are challenges with every method that we come up with. And the things that I just want to emphasize today are to give yourself grace when you aren't really the gold star achiever of, mastering some new process that you're trying to master. That doesn't mean that you can't do better in that area, that you can't have more success in that area. You definitely can, but just know that as you're climbing up that mountain, there will be some times that you slip back down. And then you'll have to climb up some more, and then you might slip back down or get on the wrong path and then have to come back or something. There are scattered moments for sure. But that doesn't mean you can't succeed. But I think it's helpful to recognize that it's not going to be perfect for sure. You just may not always go up, up, up. And sometimes we think of a journey, like people say, when a baby's learning to walk, we don't look at them when they stumble and think, "You're never going to be able to do this." They fall and then they get back up and then they walk. But with that situation, eventually they're able to walk and then they're always able to walk. And I think with ADHD, we may be walking, but we may trip a little bit more often. At least I do. That's part of my scatteredness, my clumsiness. It comes with my territory. But I just hope that you recognize that you can make a lot of progress, but there will be days that you wonder, like, how was I able to do this last week? Why can't I get myself to do it this week? And that's when you'll go back to figuring out, what did I do before? How was that helpful? And sometimes that will help you out of it, and sometimes you have to find something new. And really, a lot of the new systems that we set up, or the new ways that we find to make it so we don't forget something when we leave the house. I don't know if you do a lot of getting in the car and then realizing I forgot this, this, and this. And I've talked about that a little bit before. But even though I've found ways to not forget my keys because they're always in the drawer. So they're not lost, they're always in the drawer. But I don't always get out to the car with looking in the drawer first. For some reason, I think I have the keys, or maybe I just forget to grab the keys. I don't know. So there's going to be a lot of times that we have a lot of things on our minds and get out to the car after making a new little system where I put everything in my purse the night before that I need, but really maybe not. Maybe you wanted to bring a water bottle with you and you didn't put that in your purse. It didn't fit in your purse. You know what I mean? So there might be things you think of at different times, even though you've set up a new system. It's really great to set up the new system. It's really great to do something that streamlines your process because that will help. But as you go, you'll still run into things that make it so you might have to keep thinking about it and think, is there another way? Or is it going to be okay that I might go back and forth from the car into the house 3 or 4 times? As long as the keys aren't super lost, as long as you have your purse, where your wallet is, that sort of thing, you'll still get out the door. And maybe you just try leaving to go out to the car a little bit earlier if you don't want to be late. We could have a whole episode about how not to be late, and I probably will. That will be another one. All that being said, I know a lot of this stuff. I do really well being on time and early for a lot of things that I do. And there are some that I still struggle with, and that's okay. That's okay. Having ADHD definitely has its challenges. And if they weren't challenges, then we'd be able to set up a new system of, I'm going to get organized, and we'd stay organized. Or we learn something like everything has a home, everything has its place, which I think by now most of us know. And maybe we've even set up our homes to do that for most things that we have, right? But I've found a lot of things that just don't work with that system, like earbuds. I don't know if you use AirPods or different kinds of earbuds. I actually have a couple of each, and I lose them all the time. And I've had friends tell me, well, if you always put them back in the same place, you won't lose them. And I know that, but I'm not always at a place in my house where I can just run and put them in that place. Somebody might walk in and want to talk to me, and I'm not going to say, "Excuse me for 3 minutes while I go put these in the other room." I could, but with my kids and my husband, I don't want to do that. That's the choice that I'm making. So I've tried to do things like, okay, if I'm wearing, you know, pants that have a pocket, I'll put them in the pocket, but a lot of times I don't have a pocket, you know. So there are going to be some things that don't fit into that system, but with our challenges come great gifts, and I'm convinced that we're all really smart in something. And that we can figure out this puzzle. We can figure out this puzzle. And my goal is to have this kind of collective where we work together and we're able to share ideas and we're able to figure out that puzzle together. And what might work for me might not work for you, or what might work for me now might not work for me in 2 years. And something that you do is going to be perfect for me. Isn't that great? Great minds can help each other. And I'm just really excited about it. I think it's something that can happen, and I think we need it. I think that'll be it for today. I think my next episode will be about being on time. How to be on time or early, your choice. And there are pros and cons to being early. See if you can think of any. I can. I'll spell those out in the next episode. But until then, thank you so much for being here. I have finally finished my mail sequence. So there needs to be a way that you link when you offer something free on your website. There has to be a way to link that so that you get an email for that. And you get that link, and it's has a lot more steps than they make it sound like. I got that set up for the favorite things quiz. So that's up and running. If anybody wants to get that, see if they like it. I'm working on well, I would say another freebie. I'm actually working on two because, distractions. Which one should I start first? I get going on one and then I think, now I'm going to do this one. And part of that's just the inability to wrap my head around exactly how it's going to work out. I have the ideas, but it's bringing them all together and making it work. But pretty soon those will be up too. And I have to tell you that having this podcast has been really helpful for me for building my website, because it's kind of like when somebody's coming over in an hour and you haven't been able to get yourself to really clean the house. When you know they're coming, you just run around like crazy and you get it done. And once I started this podcast and realized that it was linking to my website, and I had so many things there that weren't functioning quite right. There may still be a few more, but I think I've got them. It just made me want to go, 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 and make that look better and better so it wouldn't be an embarrassment to me or a frustration to you. So, and then next I realized, oh my goodness, I have to link these freebies. So that's what I'm doing. I need to finish some of them. So I do have one yoga class. It's very short, just about kind of quieting the mind, just giving you a chance to relax. But it's nothing fancy. It's just three things that you do. I think they're all on just laying down on your back. But I have another class that I'll probably record tomorrow called Yoga for Scattered Minds. And it's not my intention to develop like this is all going to be all about yoga. That's not my intention, but I know it can really help ADHD, whether you actually do yoga or you just sit and listen and maybe just do some of the breathing things. My mouth is not it's not moving as well as normal. The words aren't coming out. It's like I'm, instead of tripping on the carpet or something, I'm tripping on my own mouth. But anyway, tomorrow my promise is I'm going to get that Yoga for Scattered Minds episode. There's going to be some talking in there because I need to explain it. It can't be just like, oh, do this pose and you magically don't have a scattered mind. It's not how it works. And that's why I think a lot of people with ADHD have a hard time going to a yoga class because their mind is just all over the place and they're like, this isn't working for me. So explaining ways to make that work or to make it work for you is what I plan to do to be helpful. So hopefully that's okay. And last thing, what was my last thing? I can't remember my last thing. So I think that's going to be it. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. But thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here. And next time I'll talk about how to not be late, if that matters to you. Some people like being late, but you know, there are times that it's important not to be late. And for some people, every time is important. And that's debatable. I guess it depends on the person. Thanks so much. I will talk to you again. Bye.
Open windows, broken shadows. Frozen dreams are left for tomorrow. Without a cause. No time for a pause. Rewind. I've run out of time to sing melodies and harmonies. I'm cut short. The silence of sound has yet been found, but not by me.